1. Be my grandma. 13 years old, living in shithole backwoods China. Mountains near the village were growing lychees, so she and her mom were foraging for food there. Already night by the time they decided to walk home. New moon, so pitch black. While walking, grandma suddenly hears a horrifying sound that resembles a bird's cry. She looks around for the sound source and sees a little old lady in blue standing in the rice paddies. Little old lady has no head. She yells to her mom that there's a headless old lady in the fields. Grandma's mom just tells her to hurry up and keep walking. They start speed walking home now, with grandma's mom pushing grandma ahead of her. Every few steps, grandma's mom makes her put her left hand on her forehead and brush it off to ward off evil spirits. All the while, grandma keeps hearing the crazy bad sounds. They finally make it back home, and even in the village grandma can hear the cries from far off. She asks her mom about it, but her mom actually didn't see or hear anything, but believed her anyway. Grandma asks around the village to see if anyone can hear the sounds, but no one else can. Sounds stop after a while. Still has no explanation for what happened all those years ago to be me. Otherwise who the fuck else? Be 26, work at mechanic, have a crush on girl that go to my university. One day she come to my office. Her whole front is destroyed and a bit covered of blood. Hosha killed point and P4. H on I need help, usually alpha as fuck, but I'm worried now. Sure. What happened? Looking at the front with a worried face, I hitted her, not even letting finish her phrase, that I already know she's lying. A bunny. I runned over a bunny. That dent is a little too big for being a bunny. But you know, those campaign rabbit MFW. I understand what happened. She's sweating like Putin in sauna. I'm not drinking that bullshit, but maybe if I help with a wrench then I could wrench her. Sure, leave it in the back parking. I'll get it for you tomorrow. Oh thank you. Anon, giving me a hug so tight I could feel my screwdriver penetrating her. Literally tool. I was wearing tool belt. She give me keys, and I park it inside where no one can see. Giving a closer look to the radiator, that was pretty exposed. I can see something attached. Holla shit, that's a show point GMP. There was still a fucking shoe on the grid, from the size probably a kid. Clean all the car and repair with other pieces. I repainted the car so it wouldn't be recognized. Next morning watching TV. Yesterday night the little boy young and on was missing from his family, and no clues where it could have gone or be in this moment. If you see this kid, please call the local authority. Knock. Knock. For loft chair branding a coffee spoon. Anon, are you there? For fuck's sake, look how alpha I am. Open the gate to see Annette worried. It's ready, right? I give her keys, and she kisses me on the cheek. She then give me a block of dollars, jump on her car and drive away with a terrorized face. She gave me $2,000 for a $300 bill. MFW, never seen Annette ever again at school. MFW, 2 months later I hear of a girl jumping off a bridge with her car. MFW, my crush crashed herself after crushing a kid. 3 after my freshman year of college I got kicked out due to shit grades. I ended up taking some time off school and moved home where my parents were super disappointed, and I ended up doing all sorts of crazy shit. I call this my finding myself year, and I could probably write about 20 green text stories, but I'll start off with this one. Knew this guy named Pat. Knew him in 9th grade because we rode crew together but never really hung out with him. I moved away after 9th grade, but my parents moved back once I went to college after failing out and moving back home. Find out he was taking time off from school and was back home too. Pat is a good dude, very smart and likes to have deep conversations. We smoke a lot of weed together. It's cool talking about the cosmos and philosophy and stuff while high, but sometimes it can be a lot to handle. Like, dude, sometimes I just want to bullshit. Anyways, we have a spot that we often like to smoke at. It's at a graveyard near our house. We go there at night because no one is ever there and it's quiet and we can hear the bugs. Sounds creepy, but Pat and I are not superstitious at all, and we just think it's a cool place. Decide that one time we will smoke at a different spot in the graveyard. It's a small opening in a forested area with some construction equipment around. Like up a blunt. We are getting High as fuck like usual. I start hearing some music in the background. Real old to me music. Like the stuff you'd hear in a silent movie. It starts getting closer. Louder. Don't say anything for a few minutes. Keep smoking. Eventually ask Pat if he hears it. He says yeah. The music keeps getting louder slowly but surely. Start hearing another sound on top of the music. It's a baby crying. It's also slowly but surely getting louder. Pat also hears it. We are both weirded out. A third noise comes. This time it's this deep, very strange laughter. AHH ha 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 ha. Ha point hoo hoo ha ha point ha. Very weird sounding. Also getting louder along with the music and baby crying noises. Pat and I are now freaked. Let's get the fuck out of here. We put the blunt out and book it. As I'm about 20 feet away from where we were, I hear the noises coming from the exact spot we were at. Too scared to turn around to see what it was. Head back to Pat's car. Both of us freaked out. Decide to go to a hookah bar. This is pretty much the only supernatural story I've ever had. Like I said, Pat and I are not superstitious at all and think all /x/shit is retarded. Maybe it was some elaborate prank played on us, but it was super creepy for Uncle, his wife, and their daughter move into old plantation style house built in the 1930s 1940s I believe. Looks a little like the Amityville horror house. It looks creepy even without knowing what I'm about to tell you. It's dirt cheap for its size, but my uncle had never had money before this, and it was burning a hole in his pocket, so he purchased the house. Never inquire much about the price, or why the previous owners left. Over the next 6 months random ghost stuff starts happening. Drafts. Cabinets opening and shutting. Refrigerator door will be wide open. Lights go on and off. This is annoying, but not really scary. It doesn't even faze them after the first couple of weeks, until one night, parents notice a pattern. When these supernatural occurrences happen, their daughter, I wanna say 4-5 years old at the time, goes into the room where it happens. The parents wouldn't let her at first, because they were scared. But once the whole haunted house thing stopped bothering them, they didn't mind. They never even got up to check on the noises anymore. Their daughter was gone for an awfully long time one night and they went to check on her. When they got closer to the room they could hear her talking, and when they opened the door they saw a foggy figure that disappeared almost instantly. She starts crying and says Mr. Smith left, not the guy's name, but I can't remember it. It was a distinguishable name. Something in Italian. Daughter gets put to bed. A few weeks pass. She's not allowed to go investigate the noises anymore. Teacher sends note home saying that daughter has been complaining about not sleeping at night. Parents confront her about this. Daughter says I can't sleep. When he's watching, parents ask who Mr. Smith parents are. Genuinely freaked out but still kind of think she may just be having bad dreams. Give her some Benadryl to knock her out and stay up all night investigating the house. Parents do some investigating. Find out when the house was built, who built it, etc. Still nothing, but have a few numbers to call the next day. Hear very loud noise from daughter's room and daughter crying. Run in there and see drawer of daughter's dresser on the ground. Underwear drawer. This comes in later. Daughter starts sleeping with them and is allowed no alone time. Noises still continue. A week or two passes. Parents continue researching. Finally find something. I forget what it was they found, but it led them to a list of the crew. Mr. Smith was part of the crew that built the house. Mr. Smith was also a registered child molester. Mr. Smith was killed during the construction of the house. Can't remember if I mentioned it earlier, but this was the first time my uncle had ever had money and sank it all into the house, which means he wasn't able to just pick up and move to another house. Hired a paranormal investigator. Keck suggests building an addition to the house because the spirit wouldn't be able to go there. Uncle uses what little money he has to build an addition to the house. Daughter's room is moved to there. The first night she stays in there she starts screaming hysterically. Parents start out of their room and see a white figure standing at the spot where the old house ends and new one begins, staring directly into the daughter's room, disappears almost immediately. Uncle's family goes to stay with grandmother. While they put the house on the market, they hired a company to go get their stuff. A realtor would sell the house, and the family has never returned to the house since 5. This story is 100% true. It's not paranormal or anything, just creepy. Be me, be stupid teenager. Me and friends always used to break into old abandoned houses and hang out in them. One house is right next to my friend Cameron's house. Big red 2-story house with a basement. No one can get into it. Take a look around. See that there's a back door that goes into the basement. Nothing keeping it locked but some rusty old padlock and this thing attached to the door frame. Unscrew that piece and I'm in. Invite all my friends to hang out in there. We go in. Garbage on the floors. Basement is covered in cobwebs. Go upstairs. The door to the upstairs is barred shut, literally with metal bars. WTF. We decide that we want in there. Takes us about a month of prying with a crowbar and chipping away the door that we finally get in. Door swings open as we pry the last bar off the hinge. House is actually really nice, but kind of spooky. All the curtains are nailed onto the walls so that they can't open. House is nearly pitch black. No furniture. It's completely abandoned. After looking around for a bit we find a room upstairs. This one is locked from the outside. Unlock it. Go inside. There's a bed and a nightstand and nothing else. Window to the backyard is broken out. Cameron calls me over. Dude, check this out, move over. There's a hand on the bed. Skeletal, like it's been there for a while, and it is sitting right next to a pair of handcuffs that are attached to the bed frame. We all hurry out. Next day friend calls me, says he woke up in the middle of the night to a bunch of sirens. The house caught fire and almost burned down. Entire inside had to be gutted. I don't know why, but this creeps me out. 6. GF gets position in small town newspaper. Busy job and few employees, so she occasionally spends the night at the office to keep up on work and save gas. I have to bring her sleeping bag and a change of clothes, and the office makes her uneasy at night. So we usually turn it into a sleepover. Office building is 100 plus years old. Coworkers told her about a ghost they call Earl, complete with dozens of cliché poltergeist stories. They've looked through old photos and most of them agree that he's the ghost of a tall, H.P. Lovecraft looking editor from the 40s. We are sleeping over one night. While she finishes an article, I'm browsing internet. I'm horny, but know she's busy, so I contemplate jacking off. Decide not to. GF rolls chair over and starts grabbing my dick. I've turned off the lights and have my hands up her shirt in seconds. Wind up throwing down sleeping bag and sucking on her tits on the floor. Slip her pants off. Toss her over. She squeezes onto the pillow while I pound her from behind, squeezing her waist, pulling hair. We are sweating together. Loud slapping noises. She's gasping and calling me daddy. Horniness has made me a sexual berserker. Look up. Heart jumps when I see a man sitting in the chair in the corner. Instinctively know that I'm looking at Earl. Too horny for panic to last more than a second. Must nut. Continue fucking. Look up at Earl again. He's not there the third time I look. Get her to come. Then quickly finish by blowing my load on her ass. GF comments on how hard my heart is pounding. Don't tell her that it's because of Earl. Curl up with her. Takes hours to fall asleep. Find out following morning that GF got horny because she thought I was blowing against her neck, which she never realized she liked so much. MFW Earl the ghost manipulated us into getting it on so he could watch 7. B26. Waking up every night at 2 AM. No known reason for it. After 2 months wake up at 1:59 AM. Hear voice right beside my ear. Here, in answering voice. Freak out. Set up camera. Put powder in hallway. Wake up at 2 AM. Here. Voice. What is this? Camera slams to the ground. Turn on lights. Look around. Nothing. Door closed. Window closed. Watch video. See door open 5 inches at 1:35 AM. Slowly close at 2 o'clock. Camera falling. WTF. Nothing there. WTF 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 WTF. Look in hallway. Tiny footprints. From spare room to my bedroom. Look in spare room. Footprints to box. Doll in box. Snippy soft toy in box. Some other girl's stuff. Get box. Duct tape it up. Put in car. Drive 5 hours away. Throw box in charity bin. Be now. 4 years later. Waking up at 2 AM. Voice by ear. Here. Be last month. Can't take it anymore. Stay up past 2 AM every night. sleep peacefully. Be last Tuesday, getting sick of this crap, getting too tired, lock all windows, look in all rooms, block hallway door, lock bedroom door, go to sleep, wake up at 2:01, voice. By ear, why, swing my arms around, hit plastic, hear something bang into bedroom door, door opens and closes instantly, literally open close, staying with family, can't tell anyone, noon would believe me 8 so this happened a few years back. We lived in really old house, me, my sister, mother and my stepfather, me, 13. Just moved into new house, MFW it's huge, everything's cool, summer holidays starts, heli.png, have friend over, be exploring le basement, go into place, where we keep all our gardening stuff, find. Creepy door won't open, me keep exploring, time for dinner, mention door to parents, they explain door is rotten, and won't ever open, they've tried, a few weeks later, play with axe chopping logs downstairs. Hear loud noise, door suddenly slides open and room becomes cold, spooka das fug, run fast point eggs, tell. Mom, we go down and doors closed, at the verge of tears, mom tells me I play too much games, a few weeks later, mom finds sister, 5 years old, sitting in living room talking to something, MFW nothing there, she claims she talked to old lady with no head, mom is freaked out point PSD, mom tells us one day that she found the basement door open, and asked if anyone had opened it, MFW no one had been home that day, family is officially spooked, a year goes by, and we acquire dogs, I was in basement getting laundry, by now I hate being down here, suddenly lights start flickering, WMW, scream that whatever, is doing this can F asterisk CK the hell off, run to mom. Tell her what happened, mom believes me this time, and tells me something's up with this house. Since that day dogs became super afraid of basement, start crying whenever we force them to go downstairs with us. Mom gets a medium friend of hers to come check house out. She tells us SH asterisk TSD fee going on in this house, and to GTFO as soon as possible. We move to another house, thinking. Back to those times, makes me hug my pillow a bit harder at night. I was camping in the Rockies in mid-October a while back, and the first time I was actually scared out of my mind. Decide to go camp overnight, drive up mountain, after setting up camp, I go exploring, close to dusk when I left, now pretty dark, no flashlight cause clear night with moon, after a while. I stop where I am, and start to head back. To camp cause getting hard to see in the thick trees, suddenly complete silence, that silence that feels like the air is solid, no insects, no outdoor sounds, no leaves, nothing, every hair on my body is standing up, stop dead in tracks, absolute quiet, stuffy, suffocating quiet, I see the leaves rustle on the ground. But don't hear it, suddenly I smell it, like gallons of blood mixed with coins that have been in your hand for a long time. Taste it in my mouth, metallic rusty taste, it's so strong, my goosebumps have goosebumps, I'm as tense as I've ever been, deep instinctual fear, like nothing I've ever felt, goes down my spine, know something is watching me, something big and powerful, stay still for hours it seems like, all the while knowing it's sizing me up, knows I'm there, take rifle off my back, I always have a gun with me when I'm outdoors, have rifle low ready, suddenly big snap behind me to the left, fire twice at the spot where I heard it, hear angry growl in the trees about 35 yards away from me, can't tell whatever it is it's big, I know what bears and cougars sound like, and the feel, when they are hunting you, this is totally different, book it back to my camp, where my truck is, hear it following me, run, I'm dying, trying not to crash into anything in the dark, luckily the moon's out, after running/stumbling. Forever I'm back at my truck, leave tent and supplies, drive off the mountain that night, go back the next afternoon, tent is rags. Food/supplies have been ransacked, latches are open on containers it wasn't an animal that did that. It had hands.